Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles, the elders, the GMS who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. This GMS stop and listen, come with a short lesson. I want to read Luke 14 and 28. It says, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it?" So if you sitting down to build a house, you have to sit down first. It says count the cost. You have to do an inventory of whether you're going to have the sufficient supplies to complete that house, right? You have to weigh all the pros and cons of you building a house. What's going to be the advantages of you building a house? What's going to be the disadvantages? Think about the things that are going to hinder you from building. You have to think of all these things, man. So is as in the truth. If when you come into the truth, you have to know, hey, am I going to have the right supplies? You need a Bible. You need the Apocrypha. You're going to need certain dictionaries to look up words. You're going to need the garments to go out if you prophesying out on the highways and byways. It's if you go over to the prophet. If you're on the other side listening, you got to have the right tools, the books that you need to listen to the prophets. Because you got to remember, a lot of guys are on the other side listening. This video is more for the ones who are on the other side. Because you got to remember, everybody's not prophets. When you read in the Corinthians, I think it's 12th chapter. 1 Corinthians 12th chapter. Everybody are not prophets. Some people are going to be helpers. Some people are going to be just believers, man. So you have to still count this cost, because sometimes those people come over to the other side and prophesy. So you have to count that cost, man. It says, "For which of you intending," the word intending means to will, have in mind, to intend. You have that desire to build a tower, right? And we are the temple of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So if you plan on coming in the truth, you got to sit down and count the cost, man. Count it, the cost. It says to impute or to calculate, to give one vote by casting a pebble into a urn, like casting basically like a lot. Whether you have sufficient to finish, whether you have everything you need in regards to you finishing the truth, because this thing is not finished until Yahweh Shai comes back on the chariots, man, and gathers the elect. That's when it'll be finished. It says, "Least happily," after he laid his foundation. Happily meaning perhaps you have laid that foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him. Meaning mock, meaning jeer at, meaning make fun of. As you lay that foundation, if you lay your foundation and you don't have the sufficient things to finish your house, then you're just going to have a foundation. You won't be able to complete that house and build that beautiful house. So same thing in the truth, man. Once you come in, you found this truth, you laying that foundation. If you don't have the sufficient, you haven't basically went through the pros and the cons of coming to the other side, being a prophet, if you don't finish, man, you're talked about. That's why we now we getting close to the end, but it's still important for people who are on the other side, because you could be a believer, because it says 144,000 in the 1/3. So it means it's going to be people who are not prophets are going to make it. So you have to really weigh that cost, man. Saying this man began to build and was not able to finish, man. Because you have people that have came into the truth. They try to build a foundation, or they come in and don't build a strong foundation, and then their house crumbles, and that's it. They're finished. They're desolate. They're out. So you have to really, really look at the count this cost when you're coming into the truth, man. You have to Romans 14:5, and it says, one man esteemeth one day. It says, one man esteemeth one day. Esteemeth is to separate, to put asunder, to pick out, to choose, to approve, to prepare, to be of opinion, to deem, to think, to be of an opinion, to determine, to distinguish, that is, decide mentally or judicially, by implication, to try, to condemn, to punish. So one man esteem one day above another, another esteem every day alike. But let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Persuaded, meaning to fulfill the ministry in every part, to carry through to the end, accomplish things that have been accomplished. It says to carry out fully, that is completely, entirely accomplished, more surely, believe, fully known, persuade. So you have to be fully persuaded in your own mind to do this truth. We can't make, like, if we on the other, if we prophesy and you got people listening, we can't force them to come into the camp. It's all Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That man has to be fully persuaded, meaning he has to know in his mind that he can complete the job before he comes over. Just because you might want somebody in your camp, you can't just make them come in on that sake. You know what I mean? They have to be fully persuaded. It's all Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Because if they're not, then they won't be able to build that house and finish that foundation, finish that house from that foundation, man. And then they'll be mocked. So you have to let every man. Hey, you got people that's listening. If it's for them, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they could just be believers. If they're prophets, they're gonna come to the other side. Yahweh Shem Yahushai is gonna put a spirit on them to come to the other side. You basically can't force people to come into the truth, man. So with that, I want to give all praise to the Heavenly Father and the Son, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, GMS, who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. GMS, stop and listen. Shalom.